Today I'm going to show you guys how to make stickers. They're really fun and not too hard to make. Alright, so the first step is that you want to come up with your idea. So here you can see that I did 3 rough sketches of how I wanted to do a panther head. I knew I wanted to do like a school themed one, so I wanted to do a panther with maybe Bergman Panthers written. So this is kind of sort of what I came up with, is I wanted to have like the Bergman and Panthers above and below, and I wanted to have kind of like almost like a cute looking panther. So once I did my sketch, then I kind of redrew it on another piece of paper because I did kind of a messy job sketching it. You don't have to redraw it if you don't want to, but I made a lot of mistakes, so I did want to go ahead and redraw it on another piece of scrap paper. That's up to you if you want to go ahead and ink it on the same one. All right, so here I have my piece of paper, and you want to make sure that the size of the paper is going to be able to fit on the tape, so make sure that it's not too big, but you don't want it so small that it's really hard to color and line. So I'm getting ready to do my line art, so here I'm trying to figure out what pen or utensil I want to use. I'm going to end up using the Sharpie. Try out different things. You can also use like colored things to outline it, so sometimes that'll give it a softer look. For me personally, I'm going to go for the Sharpie because I want it to be bold. Just keep in mind, Sharpie does kind of bloom a little bit whenever you're drawing with it, so keep that in mind, okay? All right, so here, whenever I'm inking it, I want to make sure that I'm keeping my lines really nice and smooth. I don't want to be too shaky unless I'm trying to add a texture. Definitely sketch out in pencil first before you start outlining in Sharpie. When you're done, I would suggest doing this. I've done a bold outline all the way around it. That makes it a lot easier to cut. All right, so once you're done, erase your pencil lines, and then here you can see I have started doing the coloring. Notice that I'm using very, very small little circle-y shapes. My panther is going to be black, so what I'm doing is I'm going to be creating layers of colors. So notice I went in with a lighter color pencil first, and then I started working up my values. So here you can see I'm using those little tiny circle-y motions. Now, this is all about practice trying to figure out where your values go. Definitely feel free to use references if you want to, so that it can help you out. Okay, so here I'm just doing what's called buffing. Buffing is whenever you add small layers of color pencil and then you go back over it with lighter colors. So notice I'm going back over it with my pale blue. I'm going over the whole thing where I just colored in order to blend it together. That's how you get color pencil to look really nice and smooth, is you just keep adding layers. Always start with the lightest color first, work your way up to the dark, and then finish with that lighter color again. So here you can see I'm using multiple colors for different areas, and that's just to kind of help make things pop more. So when you are done coloring it, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to be cutting it out. Make sure that you filled in all of your white spaces that you want to feel colored in before you start cutting. All right, so when I'm cutting, pay attention to this. So never ever cut with it, or like don't move the scissor hand. Always just move the hand that you're holding the sticker with. So notice, watch my scissors. My scissors never really tilt side to side very much. I'm literally just opening and closing my hand with the scissors. It's with my other hand that I'm rotating the paper. That's the easiest way to cut, so you get really nice clean lines. You don't want to have any white spaces on the outside of your sticker. You want to make sure you have a very nice clean cut. For this project, I grade really hard on neatness, so really make sure you make it neat. All right, when you're ready for the next step, what you're going to do is you're going to get a piece of parchment paper or wax paper, and you want to make sure that it's a piece that is way bigger than your sticker, okay? So make sure that you have plenty of space all the way around it. Then you're going to get a piece of tape, and then you're going to stick it face down on the parchment paper so the sticky side is touching the parchment paper. I like to use a walk-up technique, so notice my fingers are kind of wiggling as I'm pushing my tape down. That helps make it have a smooth connection. So without that, you might end up with some air bubbles, and you don't want any air bubbles. Check your tape to make sure there's no bubbles or wrinkles before you move on to the next step. So here I've noticed that my sticker is a little bit too big. I barely have any space on both sides of the sticker, so I'm actually going to add another layer of tape. So if your sticker is too big, add multiple pieces of tape. If it's small enough to fit on there and you have plenty of extra room, you're great. You don't have to worry about that. So here I have my parchment paper completely covered in tape, and now I'm going to make sure that I have enough space to run my finger all the way around the sticker. If you don't have enough space for that, I would suggest make your parchment paper a little bigger and add more tape. All right, this part's a little tricky. You're going to take your sticker, and then you're going to get the piece of tape, and you're going to put it face down on the sticker so that the colorful part is on the sticky side. Be very safe and careful with this step. You don't want to mess it up. So very carefully, slowly roll the paper down onto the tape so that you're going to get it to stick. Be very, very patient with this step, okay? Make sure that you can have tape on all of the edges. If your sticker is is too big, go ahead and add a second piece of tape to it, okay? So whenever you're done, you're going to cut it off, and then you're just going to very carefully line it up onto your parchment paper that already has the tape on it. Do the walk-up technique again, so just kind of stick it on one side and then slowly work your way up to the top again. Whenever you're done, then you can trim off any extra tape that you have. Do not fold it to the back, otherwise it won't be able to function as a sticker. All right, so at this step, you're going to do what's called burnishing. I'm going to use the back of the scissors, and I'm just going to rub all over the sticker so that I get all of the air bubbles out, especially on the edges. You really want to work all of that tape down. Check it by shining it up to the light. If you need to, you might need to use your finger to kind of push the edges a little bit more, or you can burnish it with the scissors again. So kind of shine it back and forth. There shouldn't be any air bubbles or wrinkles. If there are, you might want to very carefully try again, or just try to get them out as best you can. All right, now when you go to cut out the sticker, this is very important. You need to have at least the width of a pencil going all the way around your sticker. So whenever you go to cut that out, make sure you cut it out so that you have about a pencil width all the way around it. That'll be about 1/4 inch, so that whenever you're done cutting it out, it'll look like this, okay? Now, don't let the white part distract you, okay? That's just the parchment paper. When you peel it back, you'll notice it's just clear. So that's not gonna affect your design or anything, okay? You wanna make sure that you have that gap. That way it actually functions as a sticker. Without it, the tape on the front might peel off, and we don't want that. All right, so that concludes how to make the sticker. Whenever you get ready to apply it to whatever thing that you want to apply it to, you're just gonna peel off the paper and then apply it. So here's what you do. You just peel it off, and then go ahead and have your thing ready that you're going to be sticking to first. And then make sure the surface is clean, and then do the roll technique. So you're just going to stick it on one side and then just kind of rub it as you're slowly making it go flat. And then I like to kind of burnish it a little bit with my thumbs, just kind of rubbing and getting all the air bubbles out, especially if you're going to put it on something that's going to be washable. Like this is on my water bottle, so I don't want any bubbles, so that it stays permanent. All right, and that's it. So that's how you make a sticker. Have lots of fun and best of luck.